As a designer, I rely on paper as a key medium within my discipline and practice. Paper is a medium which surrounds us all in our daily lives. It comes in many different shapes and forms and is used by individuals of all disciplines. We see it everywhere: A4 sheets stacked up in commercial offices, magazines and newspapers, birth certificates, and even within our passports. It contributes to the routines of our lives, changing the ways we as humans move and interact. It was quite late into the project when I had my eureka moment and discovered Marshall McLuhan, who, as you may already know, is a philosopher who devoted a lot of his life to media theory. His work was a turning point for me, steering me away from the idea of media within the fashion industry and looking into how mediums affect society, which I felt was a good transition as there were elements which flowed from one to another. McLuhan believed that a medium affects a society in which it plays a role, not by the content delivered over the medium, but by the characteristics of the medium itself. So I wanted to focus on the characteristics of mediums in their most simplest form, a piece of paper. So my experiment started by looking into how we interact with paper as an object, and I conducted a study to see if individuals interact with standard A4 office paper as a stereotypical object or as an abstract piece. I then challenged myself to push paper, seeing what objects I myself could create. I composed 12 paper objects which drew inspiration from brochures and leaflets, objects familiar to the regular person. I wanted to transform the object, building inspiration from architectural sculptures as it drew some abstraction to my objects. I wanted to test how people interacted with the objects, and it was to change variables of how they might move around it. But due to the global pandemic, I wasn't able to test the individuals. So I pulled my project to a digital platform, which was a big challenge. When bringing an experiment to a digital space, you automatically lose elements and characteristics that a camera may not have been able to pick up on. As soon as you bring the work to a screen, you're viewing it from the one perspective of the eye and the flat screen, and you no longer get to communicate through lighting, scale, scent, environment, and surroundings. It is all based on where the viewer is and how they choose to view it, and that might be through a small telephone or a large projector. Some other experiments that took a similar route. I tested how far I could push paper as a material within a digital space without losing the physical properties. And I felt with many of the experiments, I feel as your subconscious mind sees that it is paper based on the previous experiences and knowledge that you have. You know that ink bleeds on a wet piece of paper. You can see that even through a digital space. And I wanted to build people's opinions and the perception. So I wanted to build individuality through personal opinion and perception. I believe the generation we live in is so used to the accessibility of content through digital social media platforms, the news, influencers, magazines, advertisements, and marketing. So my project primarily focused on paper as a medium. It challenges human perception and understanding, allowing people to grow mentally and build a stronger imagination.